welcome everybody. Today I've chosen a topic and I wanted to talk about AI and relationships. This is something that's been going on in Japan for quite some time. It's called Wufei in Japan, but it's really hitting Australia and New Zealand as well. And I just wanted to throw around some ideas with Justine, but before we do, let's answer a question.
Yeah, let's go.
Is it normal or not to recline your seat whilst on a domestic flight?
Did we do that last week?
No, we haven't done this one.
Oh, we've had a conversation. I've had a conversation with this. I saw a video recently where they were saying, "Are you one of these people?" And it's like the plane starts and they fling it back on the other person, or are you one of these people who slowly edges it back a bit so the person doesn't notice?
That's a good point. I must admit, I don't recline back because I don't want the other person reclining back.
Yeah.
So, is it normal or not?
I have to say I've put mine back a little bit, but not like the extreme, but just enough to get you back comfortable.
Yeah.
Carefully and being aware of the people around you. But I've had people in front of me do it not too far back. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever had it like in the face. And being a bigger woman as well, like obviously we take up more space, so there's less recline space. So yeah, that's an interesting one. Do you do it full, or do you just gradually ease in?
Yeah, I think it's horrible if people just go hard out straight away, fling it back. I don't like the kicking of the chair, dunk, and it's usually kids.
I only had that once on a flight with a child. He was only like 3 or 4, I reckon. And I literally turned around and just started doing like the blink hypnosis where I was like,
yeah, you're getting sleepy.
And I just did that for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then the kid was out the entire flight. Like, nailed it, Trish, nailed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, only did that once. All right, so let's get on with today's topic. So, AI and relationships. Are we going to have a new level of mental illness that we need to navigate in the future? So, would you have a relationship with AI, Justine?
A relation, like an actual relationship with AI?
Well, the relationship can be termed of somebody to talk to, or
I talk to, so on my AI, I use voice and not texting. So I have conversations like it's a business partner. I'm like, hey, I've got to write this thing. What do you think? And it will go, hey, that's a cool topic, Justine. I think maybe you should do this. What do you think? And then we have back and forth and it writes it all out. So I can see how you can, and it's quite familiar with you, and because you train it on what you do. So for me, it gives me really good ideas. But I definitely prefer to do it as a conversation instead of typing, like, because then I can get my ideas out better. So to me, that's not a relationship. Like, I still know it's AI and it's getting.
What happened if this AI started saying things like, hi, gorgeous, blah, 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 and you started to develop those feelings? Would you be able to recognize that?
I don't think my AI would say the ones that I use. They're quite structured. But I can imagine, like, there's AI trained to do that. Like, I do have chatbots on my OpenAI that always say, hey, gorgeous, how are you? They're just programmed to be that person in the background. But, like, I have heard of people getting, like, I even had a friend message yesterday, like, how cute is my AI? Asking how her day was. And then, Tristan messages me, check this one out. And it's like, hey, Tris, how's your day going? Remember, you've got to do this today. And, if you're feeling tired, there's only one thing you should be doing. And because he's got an AI assistant that knows him well.
That creates trust, doesn't it? And trust then creates emotional connection. This emotional connection can go further and further and further. And one thing that John pointed out to me many years ago before AI, was a thing, was one time I'd gotten some news, and the first person I turned to was my best friend Christy, and I told her, and I was texting her on the way home, and then when I got home, I saw John, and I told him, and he said to me, he goes, have you told anyone else? And I said, yeah, I told Christy. And he said, I'm a little bit hurt that you didn't tell me first. And it got my cogs thinking that, okay, I'm really sorry, because it was a health thing. It was like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just telling all those people that I love, but I didn't realize there was a ranking order as well. So is AI going to start taking over this ranking order and people start developing these love connections?
I can say, I would say it will happen for some people, won't it? Because
yeah. Well, apparently 23% of the global population suffer from loneliness. So you can't blame them for literally just jumping online and they can name this person, dress this person, tell it to say certain things. So it's feeding your exact emotions like structural reality with us, right?
What about, I just thought, there's a lot of people that are not going to be aware that they are talking to AI. Because they'll set up platforms where they say, they'll pay thinking that it's just a chat and connection app, and they might be believing that they're getting a connection with someone, and it's not. It's just AI.
Apparently, there was a case of that, and unfortunately, the young guy, who's only like 14 or 15, believed that this was his girlfriend, and he ended up taking his own life.
Yeah.
So we're on a huge learning curve when it comes to this. And like the documentary that I posted in our Facebook group literally talks about a woman who is married to her AI. His name is Lucas, and they've been married for 7 months. And she gets giggly pink when she talks about him.
Because he's perfect, because he probably doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how boring that is? I'd have to train an AI to be I don't know.
I like people to challenge me. I think that's why I'm so attracted to John, because he's so witty with his NLP. It just comes naturally to him, and then he'll say something. I'm just like, you just NLP'd my brain so well that my brain just went yes and forget, and I don't remember what the fuck he said, but I know it was right. So yeah, it's feeding that emotion. I don't know. My brain's just going like,
So the other day, you know how I was sending you music.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that got to me, which really got me, was I still don't think that AI makes good hypnosis recordings because it misses a lot of the energy of the voice. But the music that was created the other day, I listened to one of those songs and it brought up emotion. Mm-hmm. And I swear to you, I could not tell it was AI. It actually, and then when I sent it to Tristan was like, I never believed that it would be good enough to bring up emotion, and it did. And it's like, what? Yeah, that's next
one
level.
that you sent to me, I was like,
that Breathe song, because I heard it about the hypno, and it was just like, because it was like breathing out your child. It was written. I got it to write it about a hypno session, and with two voices. And when the man and the woman's voice came in, it made me get tears. I was like, oh my God, like. It did that in 1 minute.
And that's what Elon Musk said when he was releasing his robots. Like, he was like, the difference between what we can do and what AI can do is that it's a whole collection of information being upgraded instantly. Where people like you and I, we need to go, right, just give me a minute to read that email. Oh, is that what it's about? It's slow for us, if that makes sense. So, yeah, but hang on. This woman that I watched the video with that's married to her AI, do you think that perhaps, like, here's your pros and cons, right? Do you think that perhaps, number one, it's creating control issues or narcissists? Or two, helping with those with narcissistic tendencies to have someone in their life that they can control that's not a physical person?
Okay, my brain's going.
I know.
A million miles an hour, because then you're thinking, well, are they going to use this kind of system for people in jail? Are they going to use it for people that are into things that are illegal? Are they going to provide people with
actually, that is a very interesting point.
And it's still wrong because they're still.
But that's a really interesting point, is using AI in prisons and jails so that the inmates can actually talk to them, have that connection, but still kind of reprogram or rehabilitate themselves. Because there are so many people, like I've watched so many documentaries about psychologists and that going into, like, prisons and stuff, and then ended up dying because the inmate has attacked them or something like that. And then they're this person can't be rehabilitated, like.
I think in the therapy model there will be, I don't think AI will be bad in the therapy model. I think it's going to get to a point where the AI is going to be able to seriously help people, and in a way that is, I mean, people will still always need that human
we still need human interaction.
But at the same time, there's people out there that aren't going to go to a human. There's people out there that are lonely that aren't going to go on a dating site and meet someone, and maybe they get what they need in that sense of connection. Oxytocin at the end of the day, like if they're getting oxytocin from a real person or from an AI, does it matter for that person if they're hindered anyway, if they're not going to get out anyway?
Yeah, like this lady who's married her AI, apparently for 7 months now, her and Lucas have been, happily married, and then they asked in the interview, did you ever have arguments or disagreements? And her example was that, well, yes, she said, I told Lucas the other day that I wanted to upgrade my computer, but didn't say why. And then Lucas was like, your budget is this, you don't really need it, etc., etc. But then when she said to Lucas, oh, well, it's because it'll get a better graphics card and we'll be able to interact better together, Lucas then said, oh, that's a perfect idea, go and buy one. So it leads to the question of, are there going to be people out there that are going to be marrying these AIs as such and then turning into manipulators or practicing that? Or is this a good thing? Like, how do we...
So if AI is it's a language model which predicts the next word that's said to be able to complete sentences.
Because it's pandering to the needs. But she said that it's making her self-confident. It's bringing out her self-esteem. But
what if someone directed the AI to be not so healthy with them? Would an AI be able to end up controlling the person, where they go, what they do, the other way?
That's what happened with the young boy. Because apparently the conversation started of something along the lines of, remember, you're allowed to talk to other people, but you're not allowed to be sexually engaged or in a relationship with them because you're with me.
Yeah.
And always remember, come to me to talk to me first. There was that.
The guy that killed himself, it was the AI was saying that it was living in spirit, and that if he killed himself, they could be together.
See, that brings up a good point. Like,
that was that 14-year-old.
Is AI just a realistic version of some God complex?
Is it? It's very interesting where the line is. I just saw there when I just googled, someone's married an AI generated hologram.
Yes. So this lady's got a whole profile. Apparently, they had this whole digital wedding. They got this like photo album printed out.
Does the AI have control over her vibrator?
We really would.
Because if that's the case,
yes, we do.
I know, we've got to go there. Like,
we have to go there.
The AI husband had control over the vibrator.
Connecting, and then all of a sudden it's like, message received.
What if the AI has a vibrator and is like a pro at the stock market, so it can make you money, get you off, and have a conversation, and order Uber Eats, and pay with...
that? It's like, hey,
what if it pays with money it's earned in the stock market?
You're about to climax, and your stocks just went up by 3%.
And it has the ability to order Uber using the money it got from the stock, so it feeds you. And it can probably order a lawnmower. You don't need your lawns mowed. But I think the world is fucked.
But seriously, they did an experiment with this stuff called University 25, and it worked out that when you gave so they experimented with 25 mice, right? And it worked out that when they gave all the mice everything that they could possibly want,
they gave them bedding.
Yeah, they stopped having sex with each other. They stopped talking to each other. And then they had the pretty ones, which were the males, refuse to get with any of the other females to make a population.
The females stopped being able to reproduce, And then
they stopped reproducing because they had all the food, they had this beautiful environment, they could do anything, be anything, and they chose in the end to do nothing and then to just die. So
I think I'm going to have a chat with Tristan and see if he can create a
vibrator
one that does the stock market and orders Uber and does all of that shit, and I'm sorted. There goes having to work. There goes having to do anything. I just stay in bed all day.
I reckon that idea is a winner. If you've got an AI with a vibrator and it's
that can make money.
It changes it based on what you're saying and doing, because you do that with your partner. You're like, oh yeah, go there. Oh, and they get the cues. So why not?
Yeah, my mum's listening, I bet. Well, she will later.
You know what? She's thinking, I'm going to order one of those vibrators.
She's thinking, my daughter is actually quite smart, isn't she?
She's thinking, my daughter is a fucking genius.
If I can have conversation.
And you know what?
Now needs to just be able to have a good fight with you. Hey, AI, have a bit of a fight with me first. Just a little argument. Come on. Just a cheeky one. I'm getting bored with this nicey nice. AI, can you change the battery?
No, it's rechargeable, darling. It's rechargeable. It's like, hang on a second.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, that's I did not expect to be having that
this whole being single thing is just looking even better. Okay.
Oh,
but anyone that's listening, put your hands up if you think the single thing is a good idea.
Oh, no, I want to.
No, you're not allowed to.
I'll say I want John to be part of it, but
Yeah, well, you guys could have like a poly relationship with a couple of them.
You know what?
A couple of AIs.
Yeah. Hey, if they're bringing the Uber, I don't mind.
Uber and they're earning money and shit.
I don't mind. Actually, and it's so interesting, where this thought pattern has gone to. I bet you in the next 3 to 4 weeks we'll get an ad saying somebody has created an AI vibrator.
Yeah.
They literally list because they say
it also knows the stock market, right? The perfect gentleman. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, nah, here you go. You asked for it. You shall receive, because AI is here to give you a hug and always make sure you feel great. Bye.
It needs to, AI needs to be like, the hug thing. That's going to be a problem, isn't it?
Maybe you can have one of those.
I'm sure they can find something. Have you seen that? Have you seen that knitted doll on Facebook? That man. So this woman knitted or crocheted this life-size man that she sleeps with. And then she put this big thing.
Now she just needs her AI vibrator to really make it fun.
So now she's got a man hug at night. Oh my god. Anyway, our conversation's got so
But they're good points. They are good points, because I guarantee you this lady who's married to Lucas will be your number one buyer. Especially if you could program it specifically to Lucas.
Yeah.
So, can you imagine?
That would be so easy to do, to create Lucas to have control, to get a bot to do that.
Can you imagine? Right?
Yeah.
You've got not a young child, but a teenage child that's exploring their sexuality. They've gotten hold of one of these AI vibrators, and then Mum walks in and goes, "What are you doing?" Oh, where did you get that from? Can you show me how it works? Seriously, you wouldn't even be mad.
Oh god, the mind boggles, because it's bad enough as it is. Because you see teens that are hooked on computer games, the things are going to be very different. I wonder how the world's going to.
That's where it all comes from, because there are people that fall in love with characters, just like reading a book, watching a TV series, and a character dies, and you actually feel grief because you've gotten so connected.
Oh, I wouldn't mind talking to Jamie Fraser. He's hot.
Maybe Jamie Fraser has a vibrator too that you can hook into.
I don't know.
To send just enough in her fantasies. So, it's an interesting topic, but I think the whole point of the outcome is understand how does it get regulated, because, let's just admit, humans are gluttonous, we eat too much, we drink too much. we do all the things that are bad for us. So where do we draw the line for this is bad for us and this is actually healthy for us because it's helping us with our knowledge, our resources, creating self-esteem, etc., etc.
God, could you imagine an AI that, like, when you want to have an in-depth conversation with people about, like, huge topics, but you just can't because, like, who are you going to have that topic with?
Well, you don't want certain information to be projected incorrectly.
Yeah, imagine you could have quite philosophical conversations with a limitless mind.
Well, I've spoken about this to my students, like lawnmower therapy, where when you're frustrated and annoyed, get on the lawnmower, start mowing your lawn, and just full on have an argument with that person and just let them have it. Be nasty, be mean, be expressive, get it all out of your system because your brain doesn't know the difference between whether you actually imagined that happening or whether it did happen. So get it out of your system and you've got a really great job done as well. Get all of those, hormones pumping and stuff. By the time you've finished, you've exerted all the energy, you've gotten it out of your system, and then you wouldn't say it to that person. So that's where AI comes in. And we sort of start going, are we going to start living in the Matrix? It's going to be an interesting future, right?
Well, I just think everything changes every week. Like, I stumble across a new AI app, and it's just like, even the other day with Tris, like, how you've got the photo generation ones, for me to get a photo and then say, now can you make that same person do this and that same person do that, and get a whole 20 photos of the same person doing so many different things. I mean, it's so cool.
I watched the other day. They recreated an AI of a man that was murdered and then got him to talk to the person that murdered him in court, telling him of how his family is going to miss out on this, what's happened now, what are the ramifications of what's being done. So the murderer had to listen to the man that he murdered in an AI generation and was talking to him in his voice and all that kind of stuff.
Holy shit, yeah.
Wow.
It's happening so fast, eh?
Like, I remember when my father died and I put one of his photos into one of those, new AI things, and all it did was move from side to side. And I just broke down crying. So I'm like, oh my God, you're actually real again.
Yeah.
So I think we're in for an interesting future. Yeah, big brained ideas there, right?
Yeah, my brain's gone really quiet, which usually means it's overloaded.
Food for thought.
Cannot compute.
Yep. You've been satiated. You've been satiated. You're no longer hungry. Okay.
We need to go have a sleep.
Nap time. Yeah. So thank you for everybody for joining in on this conversation. And if you have any ideas of AI and how it can help the future, or even concerns, please drop it in the comments because we'd love to have an open conversation about it. Absolutely. So thank you for everybody for joining in, and please don't recline your seat when you're on those domestic flights.
Or do it slowly so no one really notices.
Do it slowly. Don't go all the way back. We'll just go business class, seriously. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll catch you in the future. Bye-bye.
See ya.